Hey guys, and welcome to the State of Crypto, your one-stop source for all crypto-related news. I'm your host Martin, and this is episode 55. Ripple signs to second largest Korean bank. Libra will be half powered by the US dollar, and Bitcoin to become the people's currency. Okay, we'll talk about all this once we get to the news segment, right? Hey David, how's it going? Thank you for tuning in, man. Yeah, let's get to the news. Anyways, guys, if you are catching this stream live, welcome. And if you're catching the replay and have any suggestions for us, please make sure you give us a comment below, right? And if you want to keep up to date with the latest crypto-related news, make sure you subscribe. You hit that like button and that bell so you're notified when we go live. Hi, Benny. How's it going, man? Thank you for tuning in. And if you want to keep on chatting with us once the stream is done, you can join us on the Discord. The link is in the description. Now, on to the news, right? We do have news today. A little bit better news than yesterday. Anyways, this article is very short. It's just like 5 small paragraphs. So there's like, it was very hard to summarize. Basically, the most important thing that it says is that cryptocurrency Libra will be 50% backed by the dollar. The rest will be supported by the euro at 18%, the Japanese yen at 14%, the British pound at 11%, and the Singapore dollar at 7%. That was apparently announced in a letter from Facebook to German lawmaker and former member of the European Parliament, Fabio De Masi. Now, there is no Chinese yuan on the list, and it is probably a concession to the US senators who opposed pegging Libra to the Chinese currency. Now, this is the actual article, and it's in German, and I don't understand it, so I'm basically gonna have to assume that the other article it's stating the truth, because I mean, Google Translate sort of gives me something similar, but again, I'll just go with what this article is mentioning, right? Anyways, things that I don't like about this, right? Well, the whole thing about crypto is to be decentralized, right? And the fact that you are having U.S. senators or the U.S. regulators stating what can be done and how you can peg it and where you can peg your currency to, it just defeats the whole purpose of making it a cryptocurrency, right? Libra initially was supposed to be a basket of currencies that were supposed to be, all quoting or the pool of all those coins were supposed to make the price of Libra, right? Or give it its backing. Now, imagine tomorrow that the U.S. goes and says, "Well, we're not in agreement with the Singapore, Get rid of the Singapore dollar of your basket of currencies and increase the U.S. Dollar backing by that 7%. It's not healthy when regulators can come in and say what you can and cannot do, because then it's no longer decentralized. It's no longer the people's money. It's, again, the government's money, because the government is telling you how you can play with it again, right? So I'm not too happy with this article and the fact that, they are not doing what they wanted to do just to please some people, right? Bitcoin didn't ask anyone for permission. It just existed and it came to be, So did a lot of our other cryptos, right? They did not ask for permission. They just started existing, and that was it. There is some regulation that needs to come into the market. I don't believe that regulators have to come in and state how or who they can be backed by. That's the thing I don't like about it. Anyways, on to the next article. A couple of weeks ago, we covered an article about 2 crypto banks that were granted an operational license by the Swiss financial regulation, FINMA. I'll post a link up here once the stream is done. You guys know that once this is done and actually uploads to YouTube, I'll go in and actually place this link there, right? 1 second, I'm adjusting something real quick. Here we go. There we go. Anyways, Signum, one of those crypto asset banks, opened its doors last week, and customers have been pouring through them, according to the company's co-founder, Matthias Imbach. Now, his actual words were, "Since the license was awarded, we have been experiencing an overwhelming number of pre-boarding submissions. They have received their provisional license to integrate cryptocurrency into a wide range of services, including custody, brokerage, tokenization, asset management, credit, and business-to-business banking." Now, it's the first full approval of its kind granted anywhere in the world, and I think that's very interesting. I mean, a real actual crypto bank, and in Switzerland, where the best or most of the major bankings are, right, or the best banks are. Now, he also went on to say, We are in discussions with banks to support them in offering digital assets to their clients, leveraging our white label solution. We're also in close contact with 6 digital exchange, not 6 digital exchanges, but 6 SIX digital exchange. That's the name of the exchange. And hope to be one of the first banks connected to the digital assets exchange once live, meaning that your money can flow directly from the bank into the exchange and back into the bank seamlessly, probably, and be custodied, and that's pretty good because then you won't have to actually transfer it to fiat to get out of that. You can just move your crypto straight into the bank and the bank can hold it for you, and that's pretty sweet. I think that's a pretty good way to keep your money. Anyways, let's go and look at the market, right? What's happening? Yesterday, red day, but a lot of indecision. See those long wicks? Money coming in, flowing out, not really know where we want it to go. Now making a red candle after this kind of spinning top. It's not necessarily the best thing that we can see because apparently, when you have a spinning top, the next candle usually determines where this is going to go. So potentially price, more money flowing out, not necessarily the best indicator right now, getting a red candle. But again, the day just started 2 hours ago. So right now losing 1%, yesterday basically 0.08%. Closing at $214.4 billion. Right now sitting at $212.33 billion. Yeah, let's go on to Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance, right? Yesterday, red day. 1.13% down. Right now, green day, 0.10%, right? Yesterday from an opening of 71.40, closing at 70.61. Right now, sitting at 70.69. Let's go and look at the Bitcoin article before we actually do the Bitcoin analysis. Where is that Bitcoin article? Here it is. This is an article from Forbes, and it's stating that Wall Street is working to solve one of Bitcoin's biggest problems, market volatility. And that could pave the way for the digital currency to become the people's currency. I'll tell you what I think about this in a second. Now, the article, like I said, citing volatility as Bitcoin's biggest problem over traditional currencies. The article goes on to state that Wall Street is working to ease Bitcoin's volatility by introducing Bitcoin derivative products. Now, Ryan Herr, the CEO and co-founder of CoinPlug, stated that a new opening of a Bitcoin derivative market may have a negative effect on the Bitcoin price in the short term because it gives traders more chances to bet on a price decline. With no markets to provide short selling opportunities or something similar, only Bitcoin holders can sell Bitcoin, thereby negatively affecting the market price. Whereas if people can sell Bitcoin futures, they might get benefits when the price moves downward even without holding the underlying Bitcoin. With the belief that the market will price Bitcoin more accurately when derivatives are available, and that there will be more windows through which firms and institutions can trade Bitcoin officially, traders may grow to trust the market more, leading the market to grow faster with a stable pool of investors. Yeah. Which investors are they trying to bring? Institutions or more people? Because if they want to bring more institutions, it's not going to be the people's money. It's going to be the institutions' money. They're going to take Bitcoin away from the people, right? That's why it's important to not sell all your Bitcoin. Don't give them all the power. If you leave all the money in the institution's hands, maybe more corporations are going to start buying and people are going to be left out or going to be left with very little, Not necessarily the best way to go, right? Bitcoin was good because it was not regulated. It was good because the people made the price. And, depends on who they're calling institutions. Yeah, there could be brokerage firms that are holding it for people, but again, it will be the firms and the firms' interests that are being represented, not necessarily the person's interest, right? Anyways, on to Bitcoin. What is happening with Bitcoin, right? Red day yesterday, red day today. Again, after a spinning top, red day. Not necessarily looking good. Again, what we stated, right? I mean, here it looks a bit off, but, we did say it yesterday. I'll show you what we said yesterday once we look at the shorter scale, because we were making this candle and there was nothing else going on. We adjusted a little bit today because there was more development, and we said, this is a very short pattern. We will adjust as it develops. Now, what is happening? Well, red day right now, sitting below at 8,437. Sorry, we were above it yesterday. Now we are below it again, being below that. There's not much support in this area. Maybe some support around here at 8,157, and then after that, maybe 7,500, right? Still making negative momentum. No signs of stagnation yet or decrease. And sitting at 22.37 on the RSI, which again is low. Where are we sitting on the other scale, right? We are starting to sit below that 50%. Yesterday we were still still somewhat within that 50 to 75%. Right now we're sitting between that 25 to 50% again. Um, yeah, going lower prices, right? Going to lower prices again. Not retracing here. We kind of like hit, retrace. You know, if you want to consider this a valid wick or not, that's up to you. If not, then we have not made a bottom to make a fib. But you know, I'm just putting it there for you to know that where we're sitting on the fibs. Anyways, what is happening in the more micro scale, right? On the 4 hour. Let's go look at the 4 hours. On the 4 hours, you know, we yesterday when we were live, I think we were just developing this candle. We had to trace something on the 1 hour. It kind of looked like an upsloping wedge. We set potential price action to a downside, and that was in yesterday's video. We did get this wick to the downside, you know, and a couple more. But then throughout the day, we were able to adjust. And right now, we have this like sort of downsloping wedge, which is a bullish pattern, potential price action to the upside. Not sure if we're getting it yet or not, because again, we could adjust this to here, and it would look a little bit more like a channel, you know. By the dip, I just feel it will dip more. Yeah, maybe, man. I mean, there's ways of seeing this, right? This again looks like a channel, right? And we talk about channels. If it is like this, that is a bull flag, right? So bull flag, potential price action to the upside. But it is not a guarantee that we will get it, right? I mean, it's just a potential. Right now, there's no other variable that we're developing on the 4 hour that would indicate it, because lower low than the previous lows and more negative momentum. So we're not making any bullish divergence that would indicate price reversal. And we're also not making it on the RSI unless, I mean, if you don't consider the wick and you just consider the closing, you could say that you're kind of making some sort of bullish divergence. It would be weak price action to the upside, and then you kind of get it, you got it here, kind of played out, but now it's stagnating, and we're not making anything on the bearish side because we have not made positive momentum. Sitting low on the RSI at 18.78. Let's look at it on a more micro scale so you can see what I'm talking about, right? Anyways, I'm going to, before I go into the more micro scale, I'm going to leave this the way I had it so you can see why. The 1 hour, right? Yesterday, when we were starting the stream, we were doing something like this, right? We were going like up to here. This was the 9 p.m., right? And we said, man, this is not looking good. We're not considering this 2 weeks because they were too high. We were considering this wick to begin with and going like this, and we said, man, that's upsloping. That's not good. Anything that is upsloping after an impulse down, or even after an impulse up, if it's upsloping, that is a bear flag. And again, price action to the downside. Like I said, we did get that price action to the downside. However, this was a very short pattern, you know. I was expecting us to develop it a little bit more. I wouldn't consider this a valid dump from that pattern, just that we are still developing. And again, like I said, right now we are making these kind of like bull flag. Bull flag. And we sort of had this wedge again. You can consider that we broke to the upside, but we did not hit a measure move, which is not good. Hey, how's it going, Vanex? Thank you for tuning in, bro. So it's like I said, it's not that great. It's not looking very strong. I would have expected a more stronger impulse up. I'm gonna adjust this a little bit here on the. There we go. I like that a little bit better. Better touch points, right? Touch here, here, and here. That would be a valid down sloping channel. Again, look, man, I'll show you something on Google real quick. Look, I'll show you images of bull flags, right? So, see, like I said, if it's down, if it's snap, it's showed over here. Okay, maybe I can show it here. There we go. So if it's down sloping, it's a bullish flag. If it's up sloping, that is a bearish flag. So if we're up slope after an impulse down, you can expect price action to the downside to continue. If you are up sloping after an impulse up or down, you would expect price action to continue to the upside or reverse, right? That's usually what would happen on this market. However, seeing the conditions that we're getting, and they are very bearish, I'm not really... I'm not sure that bull flag is gonna play out, right? I was gonna try to find a bull flag with an impulse down so you could see it as well. Yeah. Anyways, that'll be it for the Bitcoin, right? Let's go on to Ethereum. What is happening with Ethereum? Man, Ethereum is having a lot of problems with its network. We've talked about it before, and it seems to be a recurring article, right? Every day, Ethereum problems with network capacity. Now, miners have expanded the gas limit on Ethereum by 20% over the last 10 days, helping to address congestions and highlighting an innovative network capability. Now, over the last quarter, Ethereum has been plagued with congestion as network utilization has begun to regularly exceed 90%. As a result, average transaction fees in dollar figures have more than doubled since April. Ethereum co-founder Vitalik Buterin even remarked that the blockchain is almost full. We talked about that in an article. We actually covered it in an earlier stream. And again, we'll post a link up here in the description. Up here in the video once the actual stream is done. Now, so what is going on with Ethereum, right? We talked about it being clogged by US Tether. US Tether is taking a big chunk, but however, there is another one, Fairwind, right? Which happens to be a decentralized gambling service, right? They take up a little bit more than Tether right now on utilization. Again, probably things that are not substantial to this network, which is based for smart contracts, but there are other tokens that are maybe not smart contracts that are like clogging it, right? Making it more expensive. Anyways, what is happening with Ethereum, right? Ethereum on the daily. Yesterday gained some dominance, 2.29% right now, losing a little bit of dominance, 0.20%, sitting at 8.54% of market dominance. Again, that's pretty good. Anything above 8% for Ethereum is good. Let's go into the price, right? Where are we in the price? Well, since we were traced 100% of the way, I'm going to get rid of this. Do we want to consider this the low? Then if we do, then our fibs would look something like this. This would be the high, this would be the low. And again, we would have touched that retrace, actually passed it once, and now we would be rejected by it. Again, not looking very strong for Ethereum. If you don't want to consider that, and you want to go here and call this the local bottom, we'd have to ignore that wick on the top as well and consider that the local top. And then, we are not retracing anything. We have not made a valid retrace, so then we can still keep on running to the downside, right? What is happening? Sitting below that mid part of the channel, still within that downsloping structure. We broke out of it briefly, but have not been able to stay out of it. Sitting below at 20 MA, volatility open on the Bollinger Bands, still making negative momentum and sitting low on the RSI at 36.04. Not very good, man. I mean, we are sitting low. There's lots of potential to run to the upside, but again, price could still drop. Let's go into the 4 hours and see what's happening. On the 4 hours, right? We had this like upsloping channel. We traced it. We called it. We said, look, that's not good. It's like a bear flag, price action to the downside. Followed by a red candle right after we called that. Again, not very reliable on the 1 hour scale because it was too short-lived of a pattern, right? And we'll take a measure once we look at the 1 hour scale. Right now, I'll just keep on analyzing, right? Sitting below 20 MA, volatility extremely open on the Bollinger Bands. That dump really opened up the gap on the bands. Again, we could potentially run up. Sitting below 20 MA, starting to stagnate on negative momentum. But look, man, we took this dip that put us here, and then since we just held price more or less, we are within that average price range for this movement, and we're just resetting the oscillator, and that's not necessarily good. Anyway, sitting low on the RSI at 38.34, that is something that I'm actually glad that I see, because being at oversold could potentially see us run to the upside. However, we can still keep on selling. RSI might not be the strongest oscillator to consider on cryptos, right? But still gives us an idea of where we are sitting on that overbought or oversold scale. Let's go into the 1 hour. On the 1 hour, look, man, contraction of the Bollinger Bands happening at least since 8 in the morning today. So again, man, not necessarily the best thing, right? This. I mean, where are we sitting at right now? Below that 20 MA, we touched that upper limit of the Bollinger Bands. Bollinger Bands, usually you touch the top, then you bounce off to the bottom. And you're kind of like being ping-pong between the bands, right? There's a possibility it could dip more. I hope nowhere near crypto winter. Yeah, there is that possibility, right? We called here the channel price action to the downside. Like I said, we got it. Not necessarily the best thing that we could expect. There wasn't a violent price action to the downside. Again, was it a measure move, right? So from high to low of that channel, did we hit it? Probably we did, right? We did hit that measure move, dude. again, I'm not too worried about this channel playing out. I'm more worried about what's developing right now. So I'm gonna get rid of that because that was too micro of a scale, or too small of a pattern to actually call it. You want to see the movements happening on the more major time frames, right? Not so much on the smaller time frames. I'm gonna drag this to the back side of this, and I will adjust a little bit to touch this one. And yeah, I like this one a little bit better. We seem to be getting some respect for the midline in some areas. So again, it's we would be on that top part of the channel, down sloping again, slightly down sloping. That's the only thing that gives me hope for it to be a bull flag, but not quite the way I would like to see it. Anyways, positive momentum starting to decrease. Not the best looking thing anyways, and sitting at 41.09 on the RSI. What can we see from here, man? Well, let's see. From here, obviously, we are making a higher high. So again, we are just going with the market. Nothing to worry here on that. Developing any bearish divergence right now, for sure. And also, we have not made a negative island, so we cannot call any bullish divergence either. So we just have to wait for something else to develop, another move to come, right? Look at this channel, man. We got here really tight before we dumped. But we were sitting on a tight channel from, like this time was from September the 20th at 6 a.m. all the way till September 21st at almost 6 before we started to move. So again, this is not an indicator of how long it should take. I'm just saying it could take a couple of hours for something to happen. And if we notice here, since 8 a.m. today and sitting at almost, when is this taking us to? Yeah, so almost 9 p.m. right now. So almost 10. You can see that, we can still develop this a little bit more before we actually move. Again, it would depend a lot on what Bitcoin does. If Bitcoin does recover a little bit and gives us a bounce, Bitcoin, stuff that I don't like, right? We kind of did. We traced this support yesterday, but we never came back and touched this area of support. We actually just dropped straight out of it. Apparently, we closed some gaps on the CME that were open, and that is fine. Right now, we're flagging around this area, just moving in this channel, like I said on Bitcoin. Things that can happen if we were to pop to the upside, right? First resistance we would get would be the 20 MA, then the top part of the channel. Then we would get resistance, sorry, not the top part of the channel, the 8,437, then the top part of the channel, then 8,989. Then we would face this area of resistance, which we never quite touched. And I was hoping that we would touch it before we actually run to the downside. However, rejecting this line is not necessarily good, man. We were rejecting it for a little bit, broke above it, closed one candle, 2 candles above it, but failed to stay upside, right? Anyways, a lot of indecision, right? Price action to downside, reversal. It just seems like we're moving more or less sideways within this smaller frame, right? Within that downsloping channel. And again, that's indecision happening, and that's not good. The market doesn't know what it wants to do, right? Anyways, we're within that downsloping potential bear flag. Let's hope it plays out. 2 price action to the upside. I was done with Ethereum. That contraction happening. We talked about it. Let's go on to Ripple. Ripple, actually, this information comes from a presentation from Sagar Sarbahi. Ripple, which shows the Korea's second largest bank, Shinhan, is confirmed as a Ripple customer. The article does not state which Ripple solution they're going to be using, but as all banks, it will probably use Xcurrent, which does not use the XRP token, but uses probably just fiat, right? Now, I'm not sure. This information comes from the XRP Research Center. I would like to see this presentation live. This could potentially be altered. I'm not sure, man. I didn't see it in person, so I'm just being cautious with it. And it's highlighting this bank right here, right? And that's all it says, dude. It doesn't say much on it. It doesn't say what solution they're going to use. It doesn't say when they signed, if they're signed. So I would wait for Ripple confirmation, for actually a communication from Ripple or something else to happen, for this to be, let's call it a true article, right? Right now, I would leave it on a somewhat speculative note, but with potential truth, right? That's what I would call it right now. Anyways, I just found out this tweet. It just popped up in my chat real quick, and this from SendPay, right? They're working with Ripple, using RippleNet. Now they are super excited to be a part of RippleNet. Their partnership with Ripple has helped them reduce their transfer and processing time by 99%. and I believe that's pretty good, right? They are sending money, so they are like a remittance company, right? Um, and them stating that it's taking them less time to process, that saves money, right? Time is money, so the fastest things can go, the best thing there is. So again, like a sign of approval for Ripple's program, right, or Ripple's solution. Now let's go into Ripple for the daily. What is going on with Ripple on the daily, man? Yesterday gained some nice dominance, man. 5.48% up. Right now, losing a little bit of dominance, 1.03%. Dude, we talked about. I think I sent someone. I'm not sure if it was to you, Benny, on Twitter, that Ripple was recovering nicely. I told someone that Ripple was recovering nicely. So no, someone actually made a tweet, and then I went on the record and said, man, yeah, they probably are saying that because someone was saying that CNBC was not talking about Ripple. They were talking about Bitcoin. They were talking about Ethereum. They were talking about Litecoin, but not mentioning Ripple, right? XRP. And I went on to say, dude, they're not talking about XRP because the only one that is actually making a positive gain right now, and they are just mentioning the ones that are losing because they are sitting FUD on the market, right? They want people to have fear, uncertainty, and doubt about the crypto market. So that's what they wanted to sell. Obviously, they picked the coins that were losing instead of picking also showing that Ripple was recovering a little bit on the price. Anyways, Ripple sitting at 4.9%, below that 5% at least. I wish we could go up a little bit more. Let's see what happens, right? Anyways, price of Ripple, what happened yesterday? Nice green day, man. Even sounds like the group, right? Green Day. It sounds happy and punkish. Now everyone else kind of dropped. Ripple, man, really showing everyone else, right? Hit that mid part of the channel, getting rejected by it right now, making a red candle, still making negative momentum and sitting low on the RSI at 39.03. Still sitting below at 20 MA, obviously, and volatility is extremely open. Again, in the 1 hour, we would be making. It's too small of a pattern to actually trace something here. It's just 2 candles. So we're gonna go into the 4 hours, right? Oh snap! I hit the 3 hours. That's a 4 hour. 4 hours sitting below 20 MA, still within that bottom part of the channel. We were rejected by that mid part 1, 2, 3 times. Here we were a little bit above it, but unable to sustain. Maybe hitting some rejection around that 25-cent area. We did go up to 24.98 cents. So Ripple right now sitting at 24.09 cents. Not the best looking for Ripple. We do want to get above that 25-cent area. That's what makes it good. Anyways, about to get across off the MACD over the signal line, which could potentially bring price action to the upside. Positive momentum coming in. Again, does not necessarily mean a huge candle, right? I mean, Bitcoin did get some, did not get across, right? I think on the 1 hour they did. Look, Ripple on the 1 hour, they did get across. It did not come with a huge candle to the upside, like sometimes we have seen, right? Here's a cross, and we have this massive candle. Here, the sentiment is still bearish on the market, so again, we might not see those large impulses up, but with Ripple making a positive day yesterday, we might make something good on the. Sorry, this is a 4 hour. So we potentially could make some price action to the upside, breaking us over that 25%, 25-cent line. Sorry, and that would be good. Right now, we're kind of going to make that cross, but this red candle certainly make us diverge a little bit more from that line. Still sitting low on the RSI at 35, sold but not oversold. We have to wait to see where this will actually take us. Trying to determine what's happening on the 1 hour. On the 1 hour, sitting below at 20 MA, we're about to get across off the MACD over the signal line. Not necessarily the best. Are we making something, man? Yeah, we are, and it's not the best looking either. Anyway, sitting on the RSI at 43, that impulse up yesterday did really help us come into the more neutral zone. Things that I can see, and it would be slant divergence still. But if we go from here to here, and we're gonna take the candle bodies, right? Because right now I'm feeling a little bit bearish. Because the market it's overall a little bit bearish. Anyways, this would be bearish divergence, strong bearish divergence, price action to the downside. We are seeing it play out. Stuff that could happen, right? We might make a little bit more another low, right? Maybe hitting the same level of low that we have here. And we could potentially make a smaller island, creating bullish divergence that could potentially see us to the upside, so long as Bitcoin does not decide to dump tomorrow again, or something along those lines. If Bitcoin does pump to the upside, we might just get a couple more bars of positive momentum, and that could also be fine. However, we could develop some more bearish divergence, right? Anyways, on Ripple, we had this traced. It was like a triangle, basically. Actually, yesterday I think we were out to here, and we didn't know what to trade. So I think we had it here as well because we had those 2 touch points on the bottom. I actually did not adjust to include this point, and I should have. That's why I know I have not touched it, and or likely I didn't touch it. So again, we were doing like a sort of symmetrical triangle. We could have broken out to either side. Symmetrical triangles are neutral in nature, so upside or downside. We did seem to break it to the upside, but we did not hit a measure move. Again, the market is a little bit bearish, upside to downside. You know, I'm not liking this too much. Broken out here. We should have at least gotten to a 25-cent mark. We did not. Again, it's too small of a pattern. It's not reliable. We did call it out yesterday. What are we doing with Ripple right now, right? I don't like this because this would be, you know, we called it a couple times in the stream already. You know, upsloping consolidation would be a bear flag, right? So price action to the downside, not necessarily looking the hottest, like I said. I mean, even if I take these other candles into consideration and I adjust this a little bit, still would be upsloping. Again, not the best looking for Ripple. Yeah. Actually, do we take this into account or not? We're not, because we haven't dropped below. This could just be FOMO, you know. But again, this is what I would be seeing in Ripple right now. We're actually getting rejected by that mid part of the channel. Like I said, not looking the best right now. But I'm certainly hoping that this could break to the upside. Anyways, no news for Litecoin. What a surprise, man. It's like the coin that I struggled to find the most news for. And we're just going to do the analysis. Litecoin, I mean, if you guys want and you want to propose another coin, so that if there's no news for Litecoin, we could analyze something else or look at another article. That would certainly be cool because Litecoin has not been coming out with a lot of information lately, right? Anyways, sitting below at 20 MA. Sorry, this is dominance. We're not going to analyze dominance. Anyways, yesterday, green day, 4.89% up. Right now, losing a little bit of dominance, 1.14%, sitting at 1.68 of market dominance. Let's go look at the... No one likes Litecoin. Yeah, some people like it. You know, I don't like it very much, but you know, that's just my opinion. I mean, I don't hate it, but I don't hold it either, right? So I mean, I'll just analyze it because it's one of the major coins. Actually, even Japan recommends it in its top 5 cryptos, and those happen to be actually the 5 that we analyzed and we covered it in an article. It was Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, Litecoin, and Binance. But if you guys want us to check something else, we certainly can. What is happening with this, man? Well, sitting below 20 MA, sitting on the bottom part of the channel. We have not been able to break out of it. We have not moved it since we created it. So again, sitting very weak, in a weak position for Litecoin. Still making negative momentum and sitting low on the RSI at 28. Being at that oversold territory. I like it all the way. You like it at the lower price? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, lower prices do bring potential price action to the upside at some point in time. However, how much low can we go? Well, we can certainly go and retrace to these levels, right? It's $21. I mean, we still haven't dumped. So after that bump to the upside that we had from, let's call it here, December 14, 2018, the beginning of that whole impulse up, we still just retraced. Look, I'll do it in another chart so it's a little bit cleaner. Here I had another downsloping. I'll do it in this one. Look, I'll take it from that low to that high, including the wick for presentation. We have retraced 7 to the 786, which will be 78.6% of the way, and you know, sitting around that $51, right? We actually kind of touched it here in this candle, 51.27. So we have retraced a deep retrace from here. I mean, the market's still looking bearish. If Bitcoin tanks, this will tank. What I would expect is for this to actually pump to the upside at some point in time. If Bitcoin wants to play ball, we could potentially start retracing. We could still retrace to 100% of the way, you know. But right now, it's not looking. That's not looking very likely. Anyways, like I said, making negative momentum. We are sitting at oversold on the RSI with lots of room to run to the upside. Let's look at the 4 hours. On the 4 hours, what is happening? Well, this is a little bit weird, right? Look, I'll show you gold real quick because I talked about something about gold and I want to show you guys. And it's on the 1 hour. You remember when we talked about this being like a hook? Like kind of like a bear trap? Well, right now gold is still going up again. But man, it certainly did look like, sorry, that's silver. That's gold. Yeah, we are still making that hook. And, you know, could be a shift in momentum. However, it could be a bear trap, and we can see lower prices. Anyways, I want to go back to Litecoin. I didn't want to distract you that much. I just want to show you that curvature is not as clear here. You know, I'll throw this curve thing here so you guys can see it. Right, it's not necessarily a shift in momentum. We are starting to curve down a little bit more. That's not looking too hot. Anyways, I just wanted to point that out, right? Onto 4 hours again. Here it looks a little bit better, right? That curve, you're having that curve. Now you're starting to drop a little bit. Let's see how this goes. Starting to make less negative momentum, that's for sure. And sitting low on the RSI at 28.31, oversold. So a lot of potential price action for a lot of potential for the price to run to the upside. What is going on with this? Well, man, I wish I could see something else in the market, but right now we are just making this island. We are not making any sort of bearish divergence on the RSI, right? Yeah, so we did on the RSI, sorry, not on the MACD histogram. And from here to here, you know, it would be from here to here. Snap. From here to here, right? So we made some strong bullish divergence, potential price action to the upside. We did get it. Pump up, you know, that's it. That's everything that it's on that, right? So we got it here, and then we started pumping. That's it. That's all there is to this. Now let's go into the more micro scale, the 1 hour, right? Yesterday when we were doing this, we also had this sort of, I think we were here. We developed a little bit more, and you can see that, you know, still a down sloping wedge, a potential price action to the upside. If you want to call it that, we kind of did get it. But however, I would like to take this time to actually retrace this because it's too short of a pattern. We did not get a measured move. We said it could not play out because it was too short of a pattern on the 1 hour. And what I would like to point out is that we are sitting at a somewhat of a downsloping channel, right? Sitting above that 20 MA on the 1 hour, starting to positive momentum starting to die out, decrease, and sitting at 43 on the RSI around that neutral zone. So again, this could potentially be like a bear flag, yeah. And if it's a bear flag, again, potential price action to the upside. However, Bitcoin has to play ball. We have stated always, Bitcoin is the majority of the market, and even though if it sounds repetitive, I just can't stress it enough. If Bitcoin dumps, everything will dump with it. Yeah. Anyways, that's it for Litecoin, man. There's not much going on with it. Now let's go on to Binance. I do have an article from Binance. Man, this article I don't like it. It is misleading, and I do want to point it out. It says Binance US begin trading today. That is the true part. It says, let's hope volume picks up. That infers that volume is low, right? You would expect to see some note about volume. And this article is written like badly, right? It does not talk about volume, right? They started trading at 9 a.m. Yay, we knew that. We covered it yesterday. They will be able to trade these pairs, these coins. Yeah, we talked about it yesterday. These are the pairs. That's great. You can deposit in these coins. That's great. Where is the volume? Right? I mean, Binance commented, although it's upsetting we cannot offer Binance US in these states, you know, the 13 states that we disclose at this time, please rest assured that this is just the beginning and it's our mission to bring access to those of you in the states many of us call home. That's great. Where's the volume? How much volume was traded on Binance on the first day? I mean, if you're saying let's hope volume picks up, I do expect to see something about volume stating how much volume was trading in Binance and how much more you're waiting for it to pick up. That would be an interesting article, right? This is BS. It's not saying anything. I'm annoyed at this website, FX Street. It's just poorly written article, you know. Just wanted, like, it sounds more like clickbait than anything else. It's not informative at all. Anyways, what is happening with Binance? Yesterday, a green day. That is pretty cool. Making 0.97% up of market dominance, a little bit up. Right now, gaining a little bit, 0.18. Sitting at 1.17 of market cap. That is pretty good. Now, what is happening? Yesterday, dominance made a slight green day. Again, like a spinning top. Again, next market usually decides how the market's going to go. If you drop to the red, potential price action to the downside. If you make a positive candle, potential price action to the upside. Again, this day just started 2 hours ago, so anything can happen, right? What's going on? Still making negative momentum, still diverging on the MACD and the RSI. Sitting low on the RSI at 23.01. I mean, sitting at oversold, obviously potential to run to the upside. Is it possible the volume on the normal Binance was manipulative and maybe the Binance US is being observed to protect us investors? Maybe, man. There's certainly more regulations and more penalties that they can incur, right? I mean, we do know that, I don't want to say China is a corrupt country, but they do certainly have corruption there. There's also corruption in the US, it's just a little bit more invisible. However, these guys would certainly be watched by a lot more people, right? There's more bodies of control that are watching the exchange. So again, yeah, I believe that manipulation could be less for sure. Anyways, on the daily, like I said, let's go on the 4 hour, right? Can we consider Binance US as a new separate exchange? Do I agree? I'm not sure how integrated they are, man. I'm not sure how independent it is. I do believe it would be independent. That's why I want to see the volume of Binance and how much is trading. I would consider it a separate exchange because they do have, probably going to have to bring some reports to the table, right? Someone's going to want to get a report on how things are going and how things have been moving. So again, 9 people tuning in. Thank you for watching, guys. So yeah, I would believe they could be considered a separate exchange. Not yet determined though. Anyways, yesterday we were making an upsloping triangle. We set potential price action to a downside. We did get some price action to a downside again. That curvature that we talked about in Litecoin, potential bear trap, hook and sink. However, things that I'm looking at right now, we're gonna get rid of this because we did get that move to the downside, and we said it was too short of a pattern on the 1 hour. Right here, it was just 2 candles developing. Stuff I don't like. We are making stuff I do like. We are making a bull flag, potential price action to the upside. However, market sentiment still bearish overall. So with that in mind, this could not play out. Just keep in mind, making less negative momentum again could potentially see price action to the upside, and sitting low on their side, still oversold at 26.01. Again, being at oversold, you have to come back up, and the ways you come back up is either by making price action to the upside or by stagnating and moving, and then the oscillators will slowly start to reset, right? Let's go into the 1 hour. On the 1 hour, sitting over at 20 MA, contraction on the Bollinger Bands. Again, that volatility decrease, again, when we get that contraction, here we got a lot of contraction. You get those explosive movements, right? So right now, we are getting some contraction, not as much as we had before, but we are getting it. Price action starting to decrease, right? So we're losing that positive momentum, sitting at around neutral on the RSI at 44.7. And again, with this channel we just traced, we can see that we are actually within this downsloping channel, which would be like after that impulse up, you could consider a sort of a bear flag. Sorry, a bull flag. Where were we at yesterday? Yesterday, I think we were around here. Sorry, I didn't want to trace that channel. Yeah, this will be a 21 hour. So when we were doing the stream, that candle had not closed, and we had this going on, right? That's what I raised. It was this. So price action to downside, we did get it. Like I said, anything that is upside consolidation after an impulse down is bearish, and you can expect price action to the downside. Anything that is downsloping consolidation, even after an impulse up, right? Like, look, I'll go here. Let me move this. There we go. Stuff that happens, right? Let me take this drawing brush. So let's say have impulse up, and then you start consolidating like this. This is looking very bad, man. I'm bad at drawing. So if this was a channel, it would be a bull flag. Price action to the upside. That's what would be expected from here. You'll break to the upside. If we were to draw this as a sort of triangle, pennant, whatever, price action to the upside. If you go to the upside and you start going like this, right? Even if it's a channel or a wedge, upsloping wedge, whatever you want to be, anything that is upsloping would potentially see price action to the downside. And this would be the same for anything that is like an impulse down, right? If you were to come from here and then do that and consolidate downwards, you would expect to see an impulse up, and here would be the same, right? An impulse down, upsloping consolidation would be bearish, price action to the downside. That's how you play these things, right? So right now, like I said, potential on Bitcoin to the upside, but however, it might not play out because the market is very bearish. We could still we probably have not finished dropping. The bullish signs that we've seen have not played out. The bearish signs that we have seen have played out. We had this downsloping consolidation. We did set price action to the upside yesterday. Oh, sorry, we were here yesterday. So we were here, and it was an upsloping channel. We set price action to the downside. We did get it. And then here, I actually went on Twitter, and I posted a picture, dude. Where is it? Let's go home. Or my profile, sorry. I did post a picture of this flag. It's here. I did say, are we making a downsloping wedge? That was my comment, right? Could be going to make a falling wedge on the 1 hour and 4 hour time scales. What do you guys think? Can we get a reversal or price continuation, right? I was asking a question. I was expecting to see a pump to the upside. We did get that pump to the upside. I was expecting it to be more violent, like I said, but we did not get it. Anyways, we are still within a downsloping channel, bull flag. I would expect to see some price action to the upside again. If with this contraction, you know, hopefully we get that price action to the upside. But like I said, we are weak because we are rejecting this old support, right? We are rejecting the 8,437. We kind of touched it a couple times. We rejected it to the upside, and then we kind of broke below it, and we are struggling to go above it, man. We did go above it slightly. We are sitting below it again. In the 1 hour, you know, we touched it twice, and I failed to go above it. So again, not necessarily looking the strongest, right? So that's why I'm saying that this downsloping channel could potentially not play to the upside. I am telling you what I see. You know, you have both sides of the story. If it plays to the upside, you know what to do, and if it plays to the downside, you know what to do, right? You know where to place your stop losses. You know when to go long. That is your decision. I'm just showing you what is out there for you guys to make your calls. Anyways, what else, man? Does anyone else have any questions? If you guys are watching live, like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell so you're notified when we go live. We're live every night at 9 p.m. Central, and yeah. Am I having a lot of delay here? Yeah, I have a lot of delay on the actual stream, guys. So if you are watching and you post questions, I think I have like almost 40 seconds delay, or maybe a little bit more. So by the time you actually hear me, dude, I'll be talking about something completely different. So do throw your questions on that chat box, and I will answer them. What else can we look at, man? We haven't looked at anything else. Yesterday we kind of went through a couple coins, right? Let's look at Tezos. What's this doing, right? Well, it's also kind of recovering, making that one of those like U-shaped recoveries that I don't like very much. I don't like this chart because it doesn't have, you get a lot of gaps, and I don't like that gapage because it's not necessarily the best for charting, right? Anyways, we dropped to the downside. We recovered a little bit, you know, not looking very good. You know, we kind of did one of those like potential bull traps when you seems like you're gonna recover, and then all of a sudden you start dumping. Again, sitting above that 20 MA, but volume in this exchange is probably very weak. That's why we're not seeing that very much. Low delay, 8 seconds. Okay, cool. I do keep control. I do have my cell phone streaming as well, so I'm trying to look at where I'm at when I'm talking, and then where I'm at when I'm here. Oh, cool. Now, yeah, awesome. So, yeah, not that much delay right now. Again, I do tend to click on live every now and then for it to like drag me up in case I do lag on the cell phone, but I do want to see how things are looking on the stream, as well as you know, the chat and everything else, because sometimes the chat takes a while to pop up here, but it pops up here quickly. I just like to keep track of things, how the stream is looking, how everything's looking on the screen, etc. Like I said, I'm not liking this coin very much. Dude, you're doing seller, right? How do I feel on Ethereum Classic? Man, I hate Ethereum Classic. I will look at it, but I hate Ethereum Classic. I'm going to look at seller real quick. Dude, seller, I'm not sure if you're still holding that position or not, but I'll do it quickly. This would be seller, man. Lots of touch points, right? I'm gonna ignore that wick, those 2 wicks, because we get some better touch points here in the mid part of the channel, right? Using it as resistance, somewhat as support, and somewhat as resistance again. That's why I'm going with this low and this high. Even though this has no wick, I am taking the wicks on the top side because I get 1, 2, 3 contact points, and that's good. Again, this potentially could be bull flag, so price action to the upside, potentially. It's pretty good that you still have seller. How come I hate Ethereum Classic? I don't hate it. I just don't like it, man. Well, it's not that I hate it. You can ask that, but I just don't like it very much, man. It's after the fork, it just lost all its power, and it has not recovered at all, man. Anyways, like I said, this could potentially be bull flag, potential price action to the upside. Again, this is very cheap, dude. I think we're talking about here like when you sold or you're gonna sell it, it was up here, and then you kind of bought again somewhere around this area. I'm not sure if you bought while it was dipping or through the dip, but man, it's sitting at 0.0045. So again, man, it made a nice, for this coin, it would be a large move, right? Like 0.0063 and then dropping all the way to 0.45. That would be a large move again. Where would this go, right? I mean, would this be the low? I'm not sure, because if I fib it, I'm not sure we actually made a valid retrace. If I go here, we did, but if I go to this low and call this a local low, we kind of... I'm not calling this the local low because we did not make a valid retrace. So if I go here, we could have said that we made a valid retrace and then we kind of dump a little bit more. We have not been able to go back into it. I'm not sure I would like to call this the local low because we might dump a little bit more. We are making a second curve. Stuff I don't like off the bat. This is just a 1 hour, man. So again, patterns are not as reliable, right? Things I don't like here is that, man, and just ignore this because I'm just saying it. It's not a real Head and Shoulders. It just kind of looks like one. A real Head and Shoulders, you would have gotten a different dip here, maybe. But I mean, something like this. I'm not liking it because it doesn't look like textbook Head and Shoulders, right? So if it was Head and Shoulders, you know, this would be the neckline. If you break above this, then you could expect a measure move from the head to the neck. That's the only thing I'm kind of seeing. But again, it's not a textbook Head and Shoulders, so I'm not sure if it's gonna play out or not. It just kind of looks like one, but not really. You know, it's kind of there, but not. Yeah. So again, this curvature and this curvature here and this other shoulder, you know, could certainly be something like that. Anyways, Ethereum Classic. Let's go look at Ethereum Classic. Ethereum Classic $2. I'm just gonna take it off Kraken, man. Sitting at $4.80. That's pretty good, David. So you bought Ethereum Classic at 5.9 and sold around 7. When did it hit 5.9? Oh, here it took a dip, right? Was it risen? Because the only time I see it hitting 5.9 is this day. It was September 18th. So if you bought it around that day, Stellar is in your list to buy each day. Makes me more unsure, but I still hold. For whatever reason, yeah. I do have Stellar. We'll look at Stellar after this, man. What is this doing, right? It's looking very similar to everyone else, right? We had that impulse down. Starting to make less positive momentum. Sitting low on the RSI at 40, so 40.19. So not at, sitting at sold, but not heavy on that sold, right? Still within that mid-range that makes it on that neutral zone. Getting some contraction on the Bollinger Bands. Not as contracted as we were before, but starting to contract for sure. That means volatility is leaving this token in this exchange. So movements might get a little bit tighter and constrained before we actually break again or burst. I want to look at a larger scale, man. Look, if I go by bodies, and I will go by bodies here because the sentiment is bearish overall, these two would be at the same height, right? 5.032 and then 5.024, right? So more or less the same height. It's close to like almost at the same. What I don't like is that momentum is slightly higher, right? So you could be kind of, but not really making a sort of hidden bearish divergence. So price continuation, you know, you are dropping a little bit. I'm gonna look at the more larger scale. The thing in the 4 hours, we don't have much to go on because we are just still within this island, and everything else it's so far behind, and that wouldn't make any sense to trace something from here to here. You know, still it's not lower, so it would not be making any bullish divergence. Anyways, what is happening with this, man? Like sitting below 20 MA again, sitting low on the RSI at 29, hitting that on that oversold territory, starting to make less negative momentum. That's about it for Ethereum Classic. I don't like it because, look, man, Ethereum Classic, I'm gonna go on a more macro scale. Look at the daily. It didn't get that nice bump that everyone else got, dude. It was kind of like short and short-lived, and it kind of retraced everything by July 14th. and then ever since it has just been moving downwards. And I just think it's a weak coin overall, man. The highest it got was 47.22. I don't think their project is that great still. Yeah, that would be my point of view on this, right? Anyways, let's go look at Stellar, man. Stellar, what is happening with the Stellar, bro? Took that dip, just like everyone else, undid everything it was doing. It kind of put it back into this like smaller trend. Volatility opened in the Bollinger Band, sitting below at 20 MA, still making negative momentum, sitting on the RSI at 41 on that neutral zone. Let's go into 4 hours. So we are getting rejected by the 20 MA, more or less. We didn't touch it here. We're actually getting rejected by 0.06 cents. That's where a rejection is happening, right? Twice. Negative momentum about to die out. We could potentially get a cross of the MACD over the signal line, bringing positive momentum, which could potentially bring price action to the upside. This does look more like a shift in momentum, right? Or price action, right? How you would see a round off and then like pump to the upside. However Bitcoin needs to play, right? I'm holding some Stellar. I have not sold it, but I'm hoping that this actually goes to the upside, right? But the market right now being bearish, and if Bitcoin tanks, this will tank with it. Now sitting at 39 on the RSI, on that sold, high on that sold scale. What else is happening? Let's go into the 1 hour. In the 1 hour, sitting about 20 MA, we got some contraction, This was a little bit more short-lived than everyone else, and we saw that nice bump to the upside, expanding a little bit more the volatility on the Bollinger Bands. That price action started that momentum started to decrease, and sitting high on the RSI at 54, man. I mean, still not neutral, but man, higher than everyone else for sure. Everyone else sitting around 40, 50, 44. This one's sitting a little bit better. Stuff that could happen, right? Like I said, running off and could potentially make like a teacup and handle pattern, something like this. Not too sure if we're gonna make it yet because we are still developing this part. We are still within this more major downtrend, right? Sitting low on that part of that downtrend, which I would hope that this could break out of. But again, sitting at 0.05 cents, and I haven't traced any resistances. There's no more data showing back on this chart further back, so in this chart, we would be sitting at the lowest it has ever been at this exchange, which is Binance. I'm trying to find yeah, here we go. This exchange is where I have the retraces, right? This one actually shows stuff further back. This would be on Bittrex. Now, what is happening? Well, we retraced 100% of the way, right, from this low, and we did not hit that 1618, which would be 161% of the way, which would be the likely next target. We found some support, man. That is good. We found some support at this 5 cents, 505 what? Or no, sorry, 49, 0.049 cents, right? Somewhere around there we hit it. Yeah, 48 we hit. So we actually bounced off this support, being rejected by the next support, right? That would be here, 5.8. So again, we are looking like we are a little bit range bound. We would have both times that we have tried to go above it, we were rejected. Let's go look at the 1 hour. Sorry, that's the weekly. Let's go look at the 4 hour. Even in the 4 hours, we were not able to close a candle above it. Let's go look at the 1 hour. In the 1 hour, indecision, right? Close a candle above it, rejected the next candle above it again, and rejection again. So it's not looking very strong for XLM right now until we break above this and we actually are able to sustain this. And then the next target would be to break above this and be able to sustain it. And then the next target would be here and be able to sustain it, right? We in this candle, we kind of use it as support. That's why we can say that it's valid. And then we're using it as resistance again. And, yeah, that's it for Stellar. Right. Look, everything's going to do what Bitcoin does, right? If Bitcoin kind of flags a little bit, it might give someone else a chance to do something else. But if Bitcoin drops, it's just going to make everyone drop with it. Anyways, do you guys want to look at something else? If there's no other coin, I mean, I'll try to figure out what else I have here, but someone wanted me to look at Steam once. Steam making it like a bear flag, you know, after that impulse down. Yeah, Steam, dude. Fuck. This would definitely look like a sort of bear flag. Potential price action to the downside. Keep that in mind as you trade this token. I'm gonna use these two contact points here because using this and this as contacts on the top and this on the bottom actually makes sense with the mid part a little bit. So actually I might try to, yeah, if I bring this here, we're kind of broken out, right? But this would make a little bit less. I'll leave it here for now. Steam. What is Steam? That's a good question, dude. It's a project that someone asked me to chart, but I never looked at it, so I have no idea what Steam is, dude. That's a very, very good question. I never looked at it, man. We were doing a stream and someone said, look at Steam. And I said, okay, cool, we'll look at Steam. And that was it. So that's one of the things that I have open on my chart and on my list of tokens that we've analyzed, right? So I'm not sure what this project is doing, man, but I will certainly get into checking it out. Yeah, and the person that asked for this never asked for a news report or for us to cover news. So he just wanted to look at the chart. So we just covered the chart and that's it. We got out of it, in and out quickly. Yeah. Look, a lot of the coins that we end up looking here, they come as requests on the day, like Dusk. I'm not sure what Dusk does either. We kind of looked at it, you know. It's kind of like moving sideways since that drop, right? And it looks very flat, man. There's like a straight line here. I don't care if that wicks outside. And then like a straight line here, right? And you get a lot of support on that mid channel, like resistance and support. So it's just moving sideways. This is literally moving sideways. I'm not sure what Dust Network does either. But it was one of the questions that people asked, one of the coins that people asked to analyze, and we do analyze them. I think that was Benny who asked us to look at this. Yeah, but like I said, unless someone actually asks me off stream to look at something, I will toss it up on the next stream if they want news, because I do need to prepare the news, or at least look for the information and kind of understand what the project is. So if someone asks for something today, I'll post it on tomorrow's. But then if it's just they just want to do the analysis or look at the chart, then I'll do that at that time. And if they don't want the news or they don't care about the news, then that's fine, you know. But yeah. So what else do you guys want to look at, man? Because other than this that we've already kind of discussed, there's not much going on. Yeah. Okay, in Solar, we'll look at that. INS. USD. There we go, Binance. I'm not sure what this project does, man. Volume is very low. Right? So let's see what this is doing. That impulse up, kind of nice recovery. Let's see what this is doing. This is a 4-hour sitting at, 34.57 on the RSI. That negative momentum starting to decrease again. Might get it cross of the MACD over the signal line, seeing us impulse to the upside on the daily. Again, it's too short of a pattern to actually trace something, but this seems like it didn't dip as much as the rest, right? And right now we would be hitting some sort of support from back here, right? If I go here and do this, I'll trade this white line that is right now behind that red dotted line. It used to be support back here. It bounced off it a couple times. Maybe it's even older support, right? See, we touched it back here as well. So it has acted as support before. So let me go into the weekly. Into the. I'll look at the weekly real quick. On the weekly, it just looks like it's been flat for a while, man. So since November 18th, save for this pick, the movement has been very tight, range bound, let's say. So I'm gonna go from here to here, and then down here, right? So as you can see, lots of resistance at that mid part, and then using it as support. So it's just moving sideways. Something about a main net. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll have to look into it, man. Right now, making this small negative momentum island stuff that could potentially, that I see that could potentially, it's potentially good on the weekly, but right now, like I said, the weekly is just going on. I'll do it for the bodies because it also applies from the wicks. If we go from here to here and from here to here, right, we would be making bullish divergence, strong type 1, class 3, class A, sorry, type 1. So again, that'll be it, right? Does anyone hold EOS? No, I don't hold EOS, man. Yeah, so that'll be it. So in the weekly is looking a little bit bullish sign, but again, let's see if it plays out. On the more micro, we would be in a downtrend, right? Something like this. I'm gonna ignore this wick a little bit because I might get I get three touch points on the bottom and at least two, almost three on the sorry, three on the top, almost three on the bottom. If I ignore this wick. So again, you will be in a sort of downtrend, right? And you see that you bounced around this area for a bit, about that mid part of the channel. However, I'm gonna get rid of this stuff real quick. Are we doing something? No, we're not doing anything right now because we're not made positive momentum. Had this dip down, make more negative momentum on daily. So if within this island or from this island to this island, we're not, because this island is higher and this is lower. Again, this would make it just being congruent with the market, right? On the RSI also, maybe on the RSI we would be, right? On the RSI, if I go from here to here, on the RSI, I would go from here to here, right? We would be making, again, bullish divergence that could potentially play out, right? And also on the MACD line, we would get it. It will be from here to here, right? But this is still going down. So again, this could still keep on negating it. And then if price keeps on dropping, this again could get negated. But right now, it could look like we were making some sort of a bullish divergence on the daily, right? Now, let's go on the 4 hour. On the 4 hour, we're definitely not. We have a lot of islands here that are happening. And even on the more micro scale, this would be just our center of reference. Now, positive island to call a bearish divergence or bullish divergence. On the RSI, are we doing something? I mean, again, do we take the wicks into consideration or not? If you don't take the wicks, you could more or less say that you would be kind of like downsloping from here to here, right? And you would be upsloping here. So again, potential bearish divergence, bullish divergence. That'll be it on the 4 hour, and then on the 1 hour, man. Yeah, it looks a little bit like it's upsloping. And again, we've said it before, right? If it's upsloping, that means it's potentially bear flag, right? Yeah, I get a lot of touch points on the top, at least one on the bottom, two if I count this, and break out of it. That's fine. Yeah, some support at the mid part, right? Some rejection, some support here. Again, so this could potentially be a valid upsloping channel that would potentially make it a bear flag. So price action to the downside would be expected. That's about it for this. Sitting middle on the RSI is actually 48, almost neutral, well, 100% neutral, right? And that positive momentum started to decrease. EOS, yeah, I do think I have EOS open already, but I've never charted it. So it's gonna be a burgeon chart. Man, EOS, a lot of contraction happening on the Bollinger Bands for sure on the 1 hour. Lots of smaller candles. See that volatility out of the market. We might get a violent movement soon on EOS. Sitting below at 20 MA, sitting on the RSI at 40. Right now, with all this just moving up and down, negating each other, it just shows indecision. So, whatever we chart, I mean, I'm not going to take this into, because this is going to be part of that movement to the downside. So, I'll just go from here to here, right? And then if I go from the bottom, I'll take it from this candle to this candle. It will be like an upsloping triangle, more or less. Not quite symmetrical, even though for an upsloping triangle, you would have to have this flat like this. This, even though it's not textbook upsloping, it's very close to upsloping triangle. Even if we go here, right, to get better contact points, and ignore this one, right, and we go from this structure from here to here. We get more contact points throughout the structure. So EOS, I'm not sure what to call it on this one, man. I mean, every time we try to make it low, it's harder to go lower, so we're making higher lows. But again, we're also not making higher highs, right? That's why if it was steady, there would be more chances for it to break to the upside probably than this. This being symmetrical, because you are not being strong on the top side or the bottom side, it could potentially break to either way, man. That's the triangles are like that, right? That's why that Bitcoin triangle that we were in, that larger one, could potentially have broken out to either way. We broke to the downside, however, but we have not seen a measure move of that. So, and we talked about it on other streams, right? We talked about that measure move, and it could potentially come and wreck everything, right? If we go on the daily, I'm not sure if I still have it here. Potential moves, right? We broke to the downside. We're gonna get rid of this bar. Move to the downside would see us at 4,660. Again, depends on where you take that measure move. If we take it from the immediate high to the low, it would be a little bit less. I think it would put us around the 500 area or so, 5,000 areas. Yeah, so 5,000, right? But we have that support at that 786, which we could potentially bounce off from this low, right? Which is the lowest that we were before we actually start running up. That's why I traced this low for this pattern. And I'm not sure I have it to the 100% of the top of that wick, but I would need to adjust probably a little bit more. Nah, I think we are. Anyways, I would expect that price move to go here. Right now, we are retracing a little bit. We are still... Are we sitting below? Yeah, we are still sitting below that 50%. So we at least retraced 50% of the way. Just curious, getting notified when you exchange about these EOS, right? What are you getting notified by or about? That would be the question. Like the price action dropping and raising, dude. With EOS, where was it at? Let's see. EOS to the dollar. Look, sitting at $2.80. Any small movement to the upside or downside is going to trigger notifications depending on when you have them, right? So if you want your exchange to notify you for like 3% moves, dude, 3% of $2.86 is very little. So you're going to get notified often. That's probably why you're getting notifications from your exchange. It would be like 6 point some cents. We said it's sitting at $2.82 times 0.06. So like 16 cents, sorry. So you would get notified often of this, right? Yeah. So if it moves 16 cents to the upside or downside, you're probably going to get, hey man, this is dropping more than 3%. Trend might reverse, cover your position, or, watch out. Dude, Benny, I saw your tweet, man. You said something about the World Series. Who's going to the World Series? Have they defined it yet, or it's still open, right? Because I'm not sure who's going there. Yeah, so David. So it's gonna depend on where your exchange notifies you, right, or when you put your alerts. So yeah, small moves would tend to trigger it, and seeing that you are getting more or less, like here's 8%. Look, here's like 0.81. This is like 3%. So here you would get a notification. Here you would get a notification. Here you get a notification. This is on the daily. If you go on the hour, you might get them as well. So here, like, look, here you would be notified. Almost here, notified for sure. Notified. All those small movements will notify you. That's why you're probably popping a lot. You can change that on your exchange. So, anyways, yeah. Anyways, Benny, do you know who's going to the World Series? I saw that tweet that you posted, but I didn't get a chance to see if you posted who was going there. Something popped up on my feed. I have a notification. Oh, someone's following me. That's good. Yeah. Anyways, guys, we are on Twitter. We are on Instagram now. Yay. And we're on Facebook as well. And we are. You hope Yankees? Yeah. That's because you're from New York, man. Who would you want them to play against? That would be the question. Uh, and who? What else was I gonna say? Oh yeah, and we're also on the Discord, guys. So if you want to follow us and keep in touch with us, do follow on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, or Discord. Right? We are active on all platforms. You want to go against the Dodgers from what's this guy? George Lopez. His Dodgers. That would potentially be a good series, man. I think that's how he writes it. Anyways, yeah. What else, man? Let's. Any other coins, guys? Before we actually go off the air, if there's no other coins, we'll just call it quits for the stream, right? Oh, we had a subscriber 22 hours ago, Spaceman. Cool, man. Spaceman, see if you were watching, thank you for subscribing. Um, yeah. So nothing else, I guess, right? If no other comment pops up in the next 30 seconds, we'll end the stream and we'll call it a day for today. I think it was a good stream. We did cover a lot of stuff. We did talk about some interesting news, and we pointed out when the news were not or when the news were good or not, right? Hey, cool, David. Yeah, tune in tomorrow, man. We're here daily. Uh, Next week, not next week, 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, I might be out for a couple days. So around that October the 7th, I'm not sure yet when I'm gonna be back, but at least 2 or 3 days I'm gonna be out. I'm not sure how I'm gonna be able to cover those days. I might be active on Instagram. I know the 8th I'm not gonna have any coverage. I'm gonna be in the middle of the mountain range, looking at a mine, going there to sell some stuff to a mine project that we're gonna try to work with the company that I'm with. So I'm not gonna be here on the 8th, and then again on the 21st to the 25th, there is a mining convention on at Acapulco, actually, 21st to the 26th, and I'm also not gonna be online those days. I might be on and off, probably posting a lot of stuff on Twitter, or at least trying to be in touch through there. And I have to figure out how I'm gonna do the streams those days because I will have dinner engagements and lunch engagements. So either I will stream very early or very late. They will be posted on the time frames that appear at the end, right? Any chance you check out Dow Jones? Yeah, I think I clicked on it a couple seconds ago. Dow Jones, here it is. Yeah, right now it's going up 162 points, right? So 0.61% up. Um, right now going down. Yesterday went up. 2 days ago went up. No, this is the 1 hour. Sorry, what am I talking about? Forget that. Scratch that. Right, yesterday I had a red day. Right now, basically making it back up. Using that 20 MA support somewhat, right? Dipping a little bit below it, but certainly bouncing off it. That is probably good. That we're not willing to drop. However, I do believe that if we don't go up a little bit more and we actually touch it again, we might break down. Usually, the more times you touch a support, the more likely you are to break it. Same for a resistance. The more you touch it, the more you are likely to break it. However, volatility is starting to contract a little bit on the Bollinger Bands. Sitting high on the RSI at 55. Still in that neutral zone. Starting to make that negative momentum. I mean, the Dow Jones, I wouldn't go any deeper than 4 hours, probably. Because the 1 hour, right now the market's closed anyways. Probably aftermarket movements that we are seeing. Still trying to figure out, sitting below at 20 MA, that negative momentum started to decrease. Sitting neutral on the RSI, right, at 53. So on the Dow Jones, I would look more on a larger scale, like weekly, right? What are we doing weekly? High, low, higher low, higher low, high, higher high, higher high. This is not a higher high than the previous high. So again, however, we might here go a little bit up again, right? And maybe do something. But this would certainly put a damper on our uptrend that we're in, this shorter downtrend, because overall the macro, man, look at this. It's been an uptrend since I'll call it here, right? So March 2009, it has been in a continuous uptrend. So if you would have gone in March 2009 and you would have stayed until now, you would have. I'll take it from this low and then I'll just go straight to the high to get that percentage. So like 310% gains on your money, right? Something like that, probably. So it was at 6,400 three times. Where's my trusty calculator? Here it is. So we're sitting at 26,970. I'm just gonna check that math that I did. Divided by 6,483. Almost 4 times, right? So almost 4 times your money, bro. But that is a way back, man. I think, yeah. You would have had to stay way back then and maybe have a good average of the stocks that trade there. Anyways, what else? Dude, we are sitting at 8 people watching. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Again, I really appreciate it when you guys tune in, especially when you guys chat. That brings a lot of energy into this and makes it much more interesting. Sometimes when I sit here and I do the news, it just feels like me just talking and it feels monotonous. But when you guys start to chat, it definitely brings a lot more energy and it feels like I'm actually having a conversation with you guys, and definitely makes it much more interesting. I really appreciate that you guys tune in and make that effort to be here every day at 9, and bring questions and bring stuff that you want to look at. And that's pretty good, man. That's what this is about, right? Learning together. Stuff I don't like here, right? And it's not necessarily bad, man, but look at this. This high and this high are kind of similar, not quite, but I wouldn't call it bearish divergence because you are going down, and here you would also be going down, right? What I don't like is that you're making much less momentum to get to a more or less similar height, right? So it's very weak. If we would have gotten to this height, our momentum probably would have been up here, right? And we would still would have been lower than here, and then we would have made some bearish divergence, right? So again, we're not making bearish divergence. That's good. We are not making we are making like hidden bullish divergence from here to here, and slightly, right? Because this is slightly lower. Anyways, so we're making like a hidden bullish divergence, right? That's it here. Price, we got that pump. Anyways, that's back. That's we're looking at the weekly, so that we're talking about August 19th, right? Like I said, on the RSI, you don't have that problem. Here, I mean, you would have had to go a little bit higher. I don't like that this is weak. It was a small bump, again, not looking very strong, because you're making much less positive momentum to get almost to the same height. Not the same height that I'm calling it out. It's not bearish divergence. I'm just saying that the positive momentum, you got almost to that same height with very little momentum. So it's a sign of weakness, right? It's a sign of exhaustion going on, right? And you can see it here, man. Here's clear. It's much more clear, man, right? Look, this would be bearish divergence, right? Strong bearish divergence. Price action to the downside. You got it. You were going up, but you're being weak on that pump to the upside, right? So again, might see potentially more red coming, right? Or another dump, right? Maybe we get to that same level of this same low, and then we make bullish divergence, and then we pump again, right? Again, from here to here, not quite that bullish divergence that we want to see, but from here to here, more or less, the hidden bullish divergence. That's what we were doing here. Yeah, that's it for Dow Jones, dude. Like I said, Dow Jones, you want to look at a more micro scale. Not go much into the daily, especially because the Dow, it's a agglomerate of stocks, right? So if you wanted to look at a particular company, you can even go and look at the hour, the minute, if you wanted to do some day trading, right? Still, the data in this trading view, it's delayed for me when I'm looking at markets. Not Cryptos are up to date. But on markets like gold, silver, Dow Jones, everything else, stocks, I have a 20-minute delay because I am not paying for this. I'm using a free version of it, so I do get that 20-minute delay. So for me, I would not be able to use this for any kind of day trading or anything like that. I forgot to put the music back on again. Anyways, there it is. I hope this is a great track to sign out to, because I think we're gonna sign off for today. Yeah, I do have to get some stuff prepared, go post some more stuff online, and then I want to prepare some images for the Instagram tomorrow. I might have some images that I can post. Anyways, guys, that's gonna be it for today. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, subscribing. If you like what we do, give us that thumbs up. Show this to your friends if you believe they're interested or not, or share this in social media. We do post it, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and if you follow us there and you have followers and you want to share it, and help us spread the word, that's cool, man. I mean, we do appreciate it. The more people that are in here, the better it's gonna get, and the more interaction there's gonna be, and it's gonna be better for everyone, right? Anyways, that's gonna be it. Again, I'll see y'all tomorrow, guys. Yeah, I hope you have a great, what is it today? Wednesday? Tuesday? Wednesday. I hope you had a great Wednesday night, man. I'm lost in the week, man. It's been a heavy week at work. Anyways, yeah, I'll see y'all tomorrow.